Hey guys, Sid here from Video Games and Vlogs. I wanted to go over another video with you today and kind of address all this. I would go really far as to say completely ignorant hate on Mists of Pandaria. Um, a lot of people are raging about this new expansion and what's been discussed so far for completely stupid and utterly pointless reasons. People are saying that having pandas in the game is just going too far. Really? I bet you're the same person who fucking loves Hogger and the whole meme of killing Hogger because it's Hogger. Yet pandas are too far? What's the line here that's being crossed? It doesn't make any sense to me. WoW has always been something that's fun and entertaining and had silly stuff in it. That's why it's not super crazy graphics. One, because it's meant for everybody in the world, so you don't have to have a supercomputer. Two, because it's meant to be goofy and kind of fun. It always has. They've always had this sense of humor underlying between all the serious BS. To point out something, you have the Burning Crusade. One of the first main things as soon as you walk into Shatra City, you go down in the lower city and Adam Eternum with his battle cat. I mean, obvious references to pop culture are just everywhere, hundreds upon thousands of them in WoW. They put the red shirt guy in WoW as a main character. Uh, I mean, his purpose is minimal, but I mean, that's the type of thing that Blizzard does. Uh, and pandas are too far. Oh, huh? Because they're cute and cuddly. Oh wow, you got to be so manly. And they think that they're all like this. this this isn't dark enough for me. I like the whole darkness of all the bad stuff, crazy happening. Go back to painting your fingernails and putting on your lipstick, you stupid emo little bitch. Really, cut your wrists some more. It's not dark enough for you. What they're talking about going back to is war between the Horde and Alliance. The whole point of this expansion is what Warcraft started on. There's going to be a lot more PvP, no flying until max level again. The main plot is the war between the Horde and Alliance and how the pandas and Pandarians help us get in touch with ourselves and feed this war, solve some problems maybe. I don't know. At the end of this expansion, we're not going to be all huggy, lovey-dovey on each other. I can't possibly see them doing that. If they did that, yes, I understand where you would be pissed off. The whole point Warcraft started Horde versus Alliance. Warcraft 2, Horde versus Alliance. Warcraft 3, Horde versus Alliance versus Scourge. You got this extra one in here, and then they brought in that, and then after that, it started off Horde versus Alliance, and you got some bosses to go kill, kind of stop these world threats, and then it was Illidan, and it was Wrath of the Lich King, then it was Deathwing, and now we're back to war. That's the whole point. It's not, ooh, we're gonna go fun and cuddly stuff. Just because they're gonna have some fun stuff in it doesn't mean it's gonna detract from all the other lore stuff that we have no fucking clue of what it's going to be like. You can't possibly have a real true judgment on how this is going to be just from the few minutes of things that you've seen, just because you've seen some screenshots and it has a panda rolling around fighting a monkey. Really? Not only is the art style fucking amazing and super beautiful, it there I've seen no real reason other than just pure opinion of, it's not my type of flavor. If someone says that to me, okay, yeah, I understand. Go on your way. But people are saying, this is too much. It crosses the line. Like you're some freaking, housewife that's been offended because some public speaker said something raunchy. It's fucking stupid. Seriously. Uh, you know, it, it just makes no sense. There's so little that we know about this. I think it's going to be a fantastic expansion, and I think it's really going to bring back the whole flavor of what World of Warcraft originally was, which was Horde versus Alliance. And Alliance is constantly thinking, "Oh, we're getting pushed aside, pushed aside." I can guarantee you're going to have a lot of lore coming up in this expansion Because your whole section of content that you're going to be experiencing is going to be based around being against the Horde. That gives you a lot of stuff just because, maybe Varian isn't doing the same thing as Thrall. Everybody automatically assumes Thrall's character is Horde. No. Thrall is becoming something different. And it's really hard for people to grasp that. Will he have close ties to the Horde? Yeah, possibly, but he also has close ties to the Alliance. Varian. Yeah, you'll have to excuse that alarm. That's loud and annoying. It's supposed to get me up, but I don't have work tonight, so. Anyway, so it's going back. Thrall has very close ties to the Alliance, to the Druids, to the Earthen Ring. Look at all the main characters that help stop Ragnaros and Firelands were almost all Alliance characters except for Thrall. They were all Druids from Cenarian Hold and such, which is largely Night Elf. They have Tauren Druids and they are part of it, but it's very much led by the Night Elves. Go figure. People just like to find things to bitch about and there's nothing. And then the other thing that everybody's bitching about is just pure ignorance on what the talents. Oh, I don't think the talent system's going to work. Blah, 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 blah. The talent system is going to work. It's fucking phenomenal. Even if they don't keep the talents as they are in the game, because I'm sure they're going to change quite a few of them, the way it works, okay, you play a paladin. You have your base abilities like you do now. If you don't pick a talent spec whatsoever, you have all the abilities you get between 1 and level 85. That's exactly how it will work. Okay? You'll have all those base abilities. Now what they're going to do is you're going to gain more. Some of your current spec abilities, when you choose a spec you get some special abilities, and depending on how you spec you get some abilities, they're going to share and make them base abilities so all specs get them. Okay? So you have a little bit more to choose from. Then you have a spec. Yes, you still choose a spec. Say Arcane, Fire, and Frost. My main right now is the Mage, so we'll use those. If you choose Fire spec, you'll get Fireball. Arcane and Frost Mages won't get those. If you choose Arcane, you'll get Arcane Blast. Fire and Frost won't get those. Frostbolt, so on and so forth. And then you'll get a whole set of abilities as you level automatically according to the spec that you are. So you have your base abilities, you have your spec abilities, and then come talent points. Alright? Now talent points, there's basically the design is 90% of talents, even though they change a lot of things, change the way you play and design. All that's going to come in spec abilities as you get level up instead of in the talent tree. And all the percentage-based things that change, just gone. Finally, they truly are gone. They were supposed to be gone with Cataclysm, but they are completely gone. And then every 15 levels, you get to choose between 3 things. These are abilities that are on the same lines with each other, but slightly vary how you play the game. Per example, I'm going to take a look here at the Mage. I've discussed this in my talents, but just the Mage. Tier 1. And this is what they're giving as very good examples, and who knows, this will probably go in beta as these and then slightly change from there. Level 15 is kind of a crowd control. You have Ring of Frost. As it is in the game now, Ring of Frost, or Cone of Cold with the improvement from Frost talent specialization as it is now. Not in Mist of Pandaria, but as it is now. So you'll have Ring of Frost, Cone of Cold, or Frost Jaw, this new talent. So Ring of Frost works as it is, you place it down, people get trapped in it. Cone of Cold, you do a cone, and anything it hits gets frozen in place for 3 seconds and slowed by 60% for 6 seconds. Okay? And then you have Frost Jaw, which is a 1.5 second cast, 20-second cooldown, 30-yard range ability that silences and freezes the target in place for 8 seconds. That's supposed to last half as long against player versus player targets. So, None of those in a PvE environment are going to increase your damage. None of those. You could pick any of those and it's perfectly fine. You might have 3 fire mages and they all choose one of those just so everything's covered. Okay, then you go on to the second tier. You have greater invisibility. Basically, it makes you invisible and removes 2 dots. Okay, that can be pretty powerful if you have dots on you during a raid encounter. You have Cauterize as it is now in the game for fire, so you can survive a big hit. And then Cold Snap. Cold Snap, well, I don't see, some of the other classes picking them because it's Ice Block, Frost Nova, and Water Elemental. I'm pretty sure all those are going to be tied to Frost. However, Cold Snap could be later changed and include cooldowns of other abilities as well. Just a thought. And for all I know, maybe Icy Veins will fall in this, and Icy Veins is going to be specifically for Frost. Ice Block, everybody gets Ice Block. That's pretty good. Frost Nova, hey, that's ability that all mages get, but Water Elemental, I think that's going to be Frost only, so it's just one extra thing for Frost. You could use those, but again, compared to the other two, it really depends. 2 Ice Blocks allowing you to survive, Cauterize allowing you to survive if you get hit by a big thing, or Invisibility allowing you to survive. Again, there's just survivability talents. They don't affect how you play, just your kind of personal preference on what you tend to use and maybe the mechanics of the fight you're going up against. Then you have a mobility, is what I like to call this tier. You got Presence of Mind, Scorch with the movement ability, so you can cast Scorch while moving, and you don't get Scorch otherwise. And then Arcane Flows, which makes your next 2 non-instant mage spells, you can cast them while moving. Now, just because it's Arcane Fire and Presence of Mind doesn't mean that it's tied to any spec. Presence of Mind could be good for an opener or setting up your combustion, so you have that instant Pyroblast, so when combustion is off cooldown, you can cast an instant cast Pyroblast, so you know that dot's going to be on there. And you have your Ignite, and you hit your combustion, you get your full dots on there. It's going to be really powerful, sets it up perfect. Arcane, maybe you'll choose Scorch because that's good. It's a thing that you fully cast while moving, or Arcane Flows, again, cast while moving. The fire damage from Scorch isn't going to be negligible, so it's not going to be a big part of fire. It's not something you'll just regularly throw into rotation or anything. They've already said that they're going to make sure that's balanced, so it's not going to be the one thing that you choose for fire, because when you're fire spec, you have fire damage. Then you have your another mini survivability tier. You have Mana Shield, Blazing Speed, so when you get hit, you move faster, and Ice Barrier. I kind of consider this a PvP mobility. Ice Barrier, you absorb a lot of damage. Mana Shield, you absorb damage, but it doesn't knock back. So maybe there's an AoE fight where you're going to maintain aggro from mobs or something. That'll be a little bit better in PvP, but running away from things might be better in PvP. Or hell, just a larger absorption without the hit on your mana might be better for Ice Barrier. It really depends. Again, anybody can pick these, any spec can pick these, and it's not going to be cookie cutter. They can change the numbers and balance these perfectly fine, so one is not necessarily going to be better than the other. Then you have your 3 polymorphs. 2 polymorphs. Your double polymorph, you may polymorph an additional target for half the normal duration. Okay, so that could be very good in PvE since it'll be 1 minute and 30 seconds. You can CC 2 targets by yourself. That'll be good for 5 mans and raiding. Yeah, it's probably still not going to be used much. Heavy polymorph, it stuns them when they come out of polymorph. Good for PvP. And sickly polymorph, basically their health regen is only 10% of what it normally is, which can be really good for PvP if you want to set up an extra basic CC to set up a kill without them regaining a bunch of health. So you can basically, they get really low, you polymorph them to keep them healing. They don't regen a whole lot of health. It makes sure that they can't cast during that period, so people can get over there and you execute them, get them down, kill them. Heavy polymorph, obviously, they come out of the polymorph and they're stunned, but they get all that regen. Double in PvP, yeah, it's going to be like half duration plus diminishing returns on top of that already. Not necessarily going to be worth it unless you have really good CC. I can see it in, you know, people who are 2700 and higher rating maybe can get a lot of use out of that just because they can really work together on their CCs, but that's it. And then your last tier here, you have a slowing tier. You have Blast Wave, which does a little bit of damage and slows enemies, but the damage is going to be negligible. Dragon's Breath, and an AoE Disorient, and some damage. Again, not something you're going to work into your rotation. And Blast Wave, obviously with this, you're probably not going to work that into a rotation for AoE unless they're going to have a special ability, because again, the abilities that you get as you level aren't the same now. You're not going to have something in the talent specs where you choose this and it completely changes your abilities. Things are going to be very basic now. So you have your base abilities, your spec abilities, and your talents. So I doubt you'll have Blast Wave causing a Flame Strike. So that'll have a slight change on your AoE as fire. But again, things are going to be balanced completely different. And then you also have slow here in this tier, just a base slow and casting speed and everything. So looking at these as an example, I have all the rest here. Again, a lot of these are going to be possibly changed, reworked a little bit. Some of them may have a tiny bit of percentage damage. I believe there was a druid one that had damage. Let me see if I can find that. And I'm sure it's here somewhere. Maybe it was another spec. Anyway, the damage things that they have had in here, as far as how much it'll increase damage done, that's going to be the good one. Still negligible. Some of them obviously are going to be slightly better, but again, you can change these on the fly. When you're out of combat, why is it going to be a big deal to kind of change a couple talent points if one's going to be better for this and the other's going to be better for that? You're still going to have, arcane, fire, and ice. People are getting up in arms about so much stuff here, and then we're still a long ways. I'm going to say we're at least 4 or 5 months minimum away from even the beta of this game, and people are all pissed off and up in arms. I'm tired of people getting pissed off up in arms and the WoW killer and this is the death of WoW and everything. People are literally either just trolling hardcore to troll, which just makes you a douchebag, really. Just grow up, are completely ignorant, or just hear someone say something and then they attach to that and that's their life fucking mission. Just silly, stupid shit. I'm tired of it. If you guys agree with me, thumbs up, share it with friends, comment down below. But I think all this is going to be great for WoW, just like all the other expansions. They were all good in their own way, and people really need to grow up. Oh, one last thing. People being upset because they're adding a Pokemon version of companion pets into the game. Really? That's upsetting you? They're just adding a mini game into WoW. Something else for people to do, because companion pets are a large part of the game that people don't honestly recognize. And they're trying to give something for that section of WoW. Find something better to do with your time if all you're going to do is complain about WoW, because honestly, I'd rather have you quit and never hear from you again. If you have an honest opinion about some of this stuff, feel free to disagree with me. That's perfectly fine. But bring some logic and some sense to it before you just blow stupid bullshit. If you have some arguments that go against and you can disprove anything I've said, go ahead. That's fine. I'll be glad to comment with you guys on this and have an open discussion about it. But my head is hurting now because of the stupidity of people. I'm gonna go. Have fun, guys, and I'll see you when pandas are there.